proceed with the countdown.
10,
9,
8,
7,
6,
5,
4,
3,
2.
Time's up.
It's that look. It's that look right there. That look like test me, mother. Yeah.
And then there's a little old lady.
Knives for sale.
Remember the swamp? Remember my song in the swamp when I was like, wham, chicka, wham, wham, chicka, wham,
I remember.
Well,
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
I was like, wham, chicka, wham, wham, chicka, wham,
I remember.
Well,
Greetings and salutations, everyone. Hope everybody's doing okay. I don't want to stress Loki. I better move us around there. There we go. Doesn't like to be over.
Oh my God, he moved me.
Well, that's what I do. It's time. We're going to talk hard and we're going to move you. Yes. Yes. We had the breaking news. Mexican Iron Man has confessed to being a YouTuber. So yes, we had that here. We want to make sure everybody knew the latest in pop culture news. But we are not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about Kong 33.
He did indeed admit. Yes, he did.
Yep. It was there. We got the proof right there. Screenshot it away. So, but yeah, Ironcaster gets all the kudos for recommending Kong 33. I was in the green room. I said, I can't tell you last time I watched this. It was a thrill to revisit, and it's great. So, but Loki, my friend, you went above and beyond for this stream. I should just turn the keys over, man. You can just run it through some Kong content, my friend.
Okay, so I watched the original, obviously. I watched the 76 movie. I watched the 86 Kong Lives movie where they bring him back to life with the pacemaker. I watched the Peter Jackson film, 2005. I think you said earlier. I don't remember what year it was, but I watched the extended edition of the Peter Jackson movie. And then I watched Kong Skull Island. So, yeah, a little extra credit homework.
It is. There it is right there. Extra credit. That's the way. That's how we're going to roll here. We're just going to put in the work. We're going to put in the work. And
Loki, you missed one.
What did I miss? You missed
Godzilla versus Kong.
I did miss Godzilla versus Kong, but I just watched that. So, yeah.
But 70 what? 70s?
No, not the stupid one. You know that wasn't even Kong. That was like Yeti. That was the Yeti or some shit like that. Yeti versus the Sasquatch. So, yeah.
All right, Ironcaster, what's going on with you, my friend?
Oh, things are going good here. I just want this for the record, everyone, so you know, I can in fact pick good movies. And I think the track record has proven I do indeed pick good movies.
I'm not watching Cocaine Shark. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, I'm not going to watch Cocaine Shark.
I know we're headed into Shark Month, and we might let you pick a shark movie, but we are going to have veto power over. I think The Meg is probably the leading candidate of what we will watch. So we will have to hammer those details out.
I just watched that too. Eris hadn't seen The Meg. So I was like, you haven't seen The Meg? She goes, I haven't seen The Meg. I said, well, we got to watch The Meg. So
Meg's a lot of fun. Meg is a fun movie. And yeah. So, but hail to everyone here, ready to talk hard. Of course, there he is. kicking things off, the mod himself, Chris Persia. Brother, thank you so much for everything. And he's just a tremendous friend, supporting everything behind the scenes. Just awesome. And speaking of tremendous friends and supporters and brothers, Daryl, hey brother.
That's right.
Program and Starfighters, indeed.
His show's back on this Saturday. So any Backtube fans out there, Backtube's back this Saturday. Make sure you don't miss it.
Yes. Daryl, keep me posted, and maybe we can figure out how to do a Tuesday or something after Talk Hard. So let me know if that works with your new schedule and stuff. So let's see. Couldn't make this movie today. It's way too dangerous to film in New York City. Good point. Very good point. There's probably rules. Can't fly around the Empire State Building. It is a tremendous film. My gosh, I can't wait to get into it at least somewhat.
When 76, they don't even use the Empire State. They use the Twin Towers. And obviously, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, people are rolling in here. It's awesome. One of the movies the 80s arcade game Rampage was based on. Okay. Cool. New music. Like I said, because people think I'm putting in new music for Ironcaster's little Shark Dance. I don't know. It was there before. It is where you couldn't hear it. So, hey Zach, how you doing, brother? So make sure I'm trying to get everybody. I apologize if I miss anything. How did Eris not see the? I don't know. I don't know. We saw it at the theater. We had a great time. It was like literally we can just have fun for a short amount of time. So
I've owned that movie since before I moved here. So that's been on. I've got the 4K and I've got it on Vudu. So how she hadn't seen that, but when she said I hadn't seen it, I was like, well, we got to watch it then. Obviously,
we have a 4K version of the Meg. Oh, that's awesome. I don't own the Meg on physical, so I'm sitting here. You're saying all that, and I'm like, let me just type that in real quick. So yeah, there's a 4K version. There's a steel book. Oh, look at the Meg. Look at the Meg representing. Good job, Meg. Can't wait. We got to make a Pippin shirt. So,
Pippin.
Yeah. So yeah, Kong. The thing that struck me the most about Kong, and look, you can kind of, because you've taken in this digestion of everything such a short amount of time, was I didn't come about Kong 33 until a little bit later. When I was a kid, though. So I really would have been about 6. The movie came out in 76. So I would have been 6 when it came out. I don't remember seeing it in theater, but what I do vividly remember was this puzzle that I was allowed to have. And I had this puzzle. It's a famous puzzle from the 76 movie where you stand on the building holding the crushed airplane. And I used to do that puzzle over and over and over again. And then I remember when I saw the movie, was just blown away. I just love monsters and creatures. And as I've said many times, my gateway drug to this type of film was the Saturday creature feature. And just I can't tell you how many times I've seen it, but I know I've watched it multiple times. And today was another rewatch, and it was great and blown away by the sound more than anything else. But Loki, this film, I mean, obviously we could beat the drum about the stop motion, just the mastery of it all. But what's some of your takeaways and your impressions of this film?
So this was the first one I ever saw when I was a kid. Why? Because my parents were old. I was a late in life child. So my parents were older. My mom used to tell me stories about seeing this in the drive-in when she was a kid. Mighty Joe Young. She loved the monster movies. Whenever I was sick when I was a kid, she'd put on Godzilla or King Kong or something along those lines to watch. So this was like almost like an every year kind of thing to watch King Kong, the different iterations.
Yeah, that's true. I can get that. Yeah, we were down with that. It was once it kind of made our rotation in the family is kind of how it played out for us as well. We regularly allowed to watch these monster movies and things like that. So what about you, Ironcaster? What was the biggest takeaway you had? Were you watching this for Talk Hard?
I mean, this was a movie where I would kind of stop it as we were going, and I wanted to look back at those videos people were taking where they were like, say, taking the original stop motion. They were trying to add in more frames to like kind of speed it up, and it's like it didn't look right. I'm going back between the original and the like 8 times sped up or more frames worked in. It's just it doesn't feel right to see the extra frames there, and it was just kind of something stood out to me. There's like this is a movie that should not be messed with.
Oh no, I agree. I agree. This is definitely one that has the blueprint, the fingerprints of its creators and the innovation. It's just you should just leave it like it is because it's such a pure form of creative genius, just creative genius. Sorry.
You know,
Before we get too
I'll
far in
add-
Kong, though, let me just say, Dean's point out that Meg's a cheap version of Deep Blue Sea. I actually like the Meg more, Dean. I find the Meg to be a whole lot more entertaining and fun, just for the record. So. Go ahead, Loki. I'm sorry.
No, you're cool. I was just going to add to what you're saying there. Watching the different iterations. This is a timeless story. It doesn't matter when you want to make this story. It's a timeless story. Why? Because you're taking something that is absolutely chaotic and uncontrollable and trying to put it in a controllable situation. And no matter how you try and do that, it does not work. Whether it's representing the 1930s, whether it's representing the gas shortages in the 70s, whether it's now, whether it's during Vietnam, it doesn't matter. When you do this movie, that message is always there, and that message is always the same. And that is, you cannot control something that is absolutely uncontrollable.
Yeah, it's just so many things have even if they unknowingly did rip this off, and it's just to piggyback a little bit on what Ironcaster was saying about stopping it and kind of overanalyzing maybe some certain sequences or parts. The first thing I will say is I was blown away at Fay Wray. Holy crap! Man, is she a scream queen goat, man. She is so good, and I love the fact that they sort of like do a setup and a callback to that too, because she's on the boat and she's doing her little acting scene or whatever. And she's so good in her little fake performance of turning it on, turning it off. And then she spends the whole movie just screaming. The biggest thing was all these shots where you have, foreground, background, and stop motion all interwoven together. And if we get to the shot, there's a shot when Kong is fighting, I forget its technical name. It's the snake. It's the creature. She's up in the cave, and Jack is in the foreground looking over, trying to figure out how he can get over there to her. So you have basically a live actor in the foreground, stop motion through the whole middle, and then her in the background. And it's just this incredible. It's 90 years ago they were doing this. Yeah, there you go. So Jack is there on the right, and then she's up top, and everyone's moving around. Like everybody's moving. This is incredible. I could not believe today. I watched this sequence, I think 3 times, looking at the way they would piece it together. And I will say this too, and maybe you guys can speak to this. One of the reasons this movie holds up so well is it's in black and white. I think if it's in color, a lot of our little things don't blend as well, but because it is in black and white and you have such just beautiful lighting through the whole thing, look at how well that's lit. I mean, I know they're using matte paintings and stuff like that, but look at how beautiful this is. That is a beautiful shot right there. It's hard to believe that is 90, well, I guess technically 91 years old. I'm blown away by this movie.
Yeah, it does such a great job of really invoking this sense of like it's a long lost location from the world. That this is somewhere so far, so alien, and yet it's on Earth.
Yeah. Just the way that they used, because I was looking at some of the cameras and how they did these shots or whatever, and we could do a whole stream just on the technology aspects of trying to pull this film off. Before I get to that, though, Loki, speak to this film's the pacing, because for me, I couldn't believe I was 40 minutes into this movie. There's still no Kong. We're just not getting to the island. 40 minutes. And I couldn't believe how, I was like, it went by so fast. I couldn't believe how well the story is constructed that you carry with just basically a couple actors. And really only 2 at that point. Like you get introduced to more characters than that. But let's face it, it's mostly just and Carl Denham. It's Carl Denham and Ann. That's pretty much the bulk of the characters we care. I mean, we get Jack, but Jack, we're not bonded to Jack yet. 40 minutes. That's a lot of screen time to move along that quickly.
Brother, this is the thing. A movie like this, back then, this either makes a studio or it kills a studio.
Sure.
You either go bankrupt after this or you've got a whole new set of opportunities. There was no, well, it can do okay, or if it's not okay, we'll do this. Or no, this doesn't do well. It sinks the studio. So they had to have a story there. They had to have a good story. They had to keep you entertained and keep you watching. No ifs, no ands, no buts, no excuses. It either works or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, get the hell out of here and we'll get someone in here that will make it work. That was Hollywood. That was, you either do your job and you do it well, or you go find another profession. Period. End of discussion. We entertain people. That is our job. It's not the job they have now, but that's the job they had back in the 1930s. This either made a studio or it broke one. Same with Ben-Hur and a bunch of other movies we've talked about before. These movies are some of the grandest spectacles of all time, and they made damn sure you knew that it was a spectacle. Come and see the great giant Kong, only in theaters. Da, 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 da. The ads, the commercials, they wanted to make sure you were coming to see the eighth wonder of the world. So they wanted you entertained, and they wanted to keep your butt in that seat watching. That was their job.
This movie is rock and roll, man. You are just so immersed in how good this is. Pat has a great question. Pat, I have to be honest, I nerded out and went down that rabbit hole Saturday. I read that they sold the one model that exists, which basically is just the skeletal part. It went into a Christie's auction a couple years ago. I think it was like 2009 or 10 or so. It sold for like a couple $100,000. I know the Brontosaurus model still exists. There's only a few. A lot of things were cannibalized and reused for other films, so a lot of stuff doesn't exist. And I don't know where we, the public, can see them. I didn't find an easy solution or an easy answer to that question. I know they go on tour, so somebody has them. They get loaned out. And they do go on tours, but I don't have an exact answer. Gap is in the house. Hey, brother, hope you're doing all right. Yeah, there's one. There he is. That's the one that climbs. That's the one that went on sale, sold for a couple $100,000. It's the one they used for the Empire State Building climbing. So Ironcaster is on it today. Oh, there's Matt. How you doing, brother? Awesome. Scott Westbrook's in the house. Claude is in the house. Everybody's rocking and rolling, talking this movie. Yeah. So yeah, Pat, I nerded out. I was like you. My brain went to like, where can I see this thing? I want to see this again. But that was my first impression. Is there's not, and the funny thing is, and again, Ironcaster, I don't know what your thoughts are, because there's not like this is so, how do I explain this? In that 40 minutes, there's not a lot going on. Hey, we're going to take a boat trip and we're going to film this thing. We're going to this place I'm not going to tell you about, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to go get this hot girl to be my lead. And then we're going to get on a boat and I'm going to film her screaming, and we're going to be in a boat. We're going to show to this island. I'm like, there's really nothing really happening that's that significance. And yet at the same time, it's 40 minutes and I am invested that none of these characters die. I am so attached to the two main characters, and really Jack as well. But I mean, it's once he starts chasing after her where you're just like, you're cheering for Jack. He's like a superhero at that point. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you say that about like there not being a lot of death, but then like once we get them all in the jungle, that's when the bodies start dropping, and like quite literally dropping.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful, beautiful scenes. And I think the thing for me, again, I couldn't believe 90 years ago. I actually feel like incompetent. Like I couldn't come up with ways to make films when I was in college. Like, this is so genius. I wish I had someone who was like talking about like, you could do this and you could do this. Like these guys were so creative with these thought processes of how they could do certain things. It's incredible. I challenge you guys to go back and rewatch Kong 33, and especially once you're in the jungle, once you end up on this journey, like this is this famous log shot. And Loki, what was it like seeing the iterations of like the log shot, basically? Because there's 4 or 5 different, different movies. You're going to get different iterations of the log shot, Kong battling a dinosaur. I'll just say a dinosaur. and then he's fighting an eel type creature. You get all these different iterations, that kind of thing. Dissect a little bit about how this sort of like translated over the course of time.
Oh, it's all there. It's always there, especially like the matte paintings. I love the matte paintings. So you're gonna see movies with some beautiful matte paintings on them. Why? Because they didn't have green screen back then. They didn't have green screen to just throw in there and be like, hey, we'll just replace this. They use these beautiful matte paintings. That's what you've got in this scene. You've got this beautiful matte painting behind the log. They're like, walking along. But I mean, set creation. If you were ever into set creation, if you ever looked at that, I mean, you've got some extremely talented people. This is the kind of stuff that's just not there anymore because you've got computers to do it for you. It's a lost art. Part of this is a huge lost art. There you go again. The log, traveling across the log. Let's walk across the log and go on our adventure.
Man, and just every element of this film. I mean, Ironcaster, you and I talk about just the incredible details in film about set design and the creative elements that you try to capture and bring to it. And man, it all goes back to this film. Like, I couldn't believe it. Dean says, yeah, he read the 76 novelization. Yeah, me too, buddy. I got it later because I read the Star Wars one. And it was like, my family were like, well, he can read that. And they were like, and he can understand it. Well, give him something else to read. Occupy this crazy kid. Because we didn't have Spectrum terms back then. But yes, I was a Spectrum kid. DJ Ronnie G. Oh my gosh. Yes, we're going to talk King Ghidorah. Yeah, so the next 2 weeks are out there. I did get those uploaded finally. So yeah, next week will be Jurassic Park. We are in Kai-June, baby. Kai-June. We are going to rock through Jurassic Park, 30 years. Oh my gosh, another game-changing film. Jurassic Park. Then we're doing Mechagodzilla, and then King G. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun with these gentlemen, absolutely. So let's see. Dean, the 76 was interesting. There's a huge Marty crew. The crew afloat still. That's fun. So
wow,
yeah. I will say that I really am looking forward to rewatching those now, Loki. Like, I'm really looking after watching 33. I'm like, I was, again, I told you guys I was ready to watch 76 today. I just couldn't get to it. I watched 76. I know last year or early this year. I love 76, but again, that's like, I'm willing to admit that it's not as good as I like it because it was a Nexus film for me. Like, it's one of those first formidable films for me. All right, so we kind of got into the jungle a little bit, Ironcaster. Walk us through some of the stuff that just knocks your socks off. Again, mostly about 33, but we can kind of go back and forth a little bit with how it translates to other iterations.
Well, in going through this movie, I was actually my mind is kind of going back to a little bit of my own childhood. And our little like school library would have these little picture books of a lot of like the classic like atomic horror monsters. So that was kind of like the way I was first introduced to a lot of this stuff. I think that might have been the first time I had gotten to experience King Kong as a character, as an icon, as a legend, and later getting a chance to go and eventually rent the movie thanks to home video, and then those Saturday morning shows. But there's just so much to really unpack in this movie, though. Just the raw anger of King Kong, like fighting for his territory. Like, I'm the biggest and best. Once he ripping the jaw of the T-Rex apart.
Yep, and they did like a homage to that in the Peter Jackson one.
Oh, I bet they did.
I think he fights two of them at once.
Yep.
Did they also, in how many of the movies did they do the like at the bottom of the ravine log scene where they're fighting all the giant like spiders and insects?
They didn't do that in 76 or the 80 movie.
It's in Jackson though. Yeah.
It's in Jackson's movie though. Yes.
Well, one of the things I do know is that with a little bit of like a directorial stipend, Peter Jackson was able to then go and recreate that scene because it was apparently cut from the 33 version. So there is a version of that scene that was filmed by Peter Jackson that was done very much in the style of this. So you could easily probably go ahead and splice that into this movie.
Oh, the black and white version of it?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
That's very cool.
I'd like to see that.
That's
I
very,
think
very
it's
cool.
I guess I'll find a copy for you.
Yeah, Bobby's came in a little bit later. Where Loki talking about that earlier, like he watched the the King Kong sequel. Yep, there is one. Yep, you got it, Bobby.
And it had what's her name from Terminator in it? Sarah Connor.
Linda Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton, thank you. It had Linda Hamilton, and she's the surgeon that does the heart surgery on Kong. So yeah, okay. The reason why I have like an affinity for the 70s and the 80 movie is one summer we didn't go anywhere and we didn't do anything, which was really weird because usually we always traveled during the summer. I did nothing but watch the Kong 76 movie, Kong Lives, and Spaceballs on Showtime like that whole summer. So it was like I was constantly watching Spaceballs, Kong 76, and Kong Lives, and drove my mother absolutely nuts all summer. So I've got kind of like I kind of have a little special place and a little love for the 70s and the 80s movies. But yeah, they're good enough to go back and watch again and have a good time.
I'm going to put the link in the chat for you guys. This Ironcaster tracked down the link, but I thought we could play it without getting into the whole copyright fiasco right here. I'll put it in chat for you guys. You guys can see that. So
this is
Jacob Ironside popped in here. I want to say hey to Jacob, and I will be on with Jacob. It'll be 8:00 Eastern, so 7:00 Central. I'll be on with Jacob. So yes, another great movie over his channel. So go ahead.
Yep. Yeah, but that video is absolutely worth checking out just because it's obviously shot in the way to sort of match the original, and it's just kind of it's entertaining to go back to it. Oh yeah, let's see, it was remade the bug scene because the original was cut and thrown in the trash. Yeah, it's such a shame that it was lost because you really want to enjoy watching these guys get picked apart by all the like giant insects and all the animals of this island.
Yeah, it's the one with Jeff Bridges, Soul Assassin,
and Faye Dunaway. Ooh,
see, I was a big
Dunaway, baby. Oh,
I was a big Jeff Bridges fan because of Tron. So my dad hated him. He absolutely hated him.
Really?
Oh yeah, the old man, old Odin, absolutely hated Jeff Bridges. He thought he was a punk. In Tron, he thought he was a long-haired hippie. In Kong 76, Ironcaster's kind of sporting the hair and the beard that Jeff Bridges had in 76. So yeah, he was either a long-haired hippie or he was a punk in Tron. So
and Faye Dunaway is like one of those childhood crushes. Like, you know how you were so young, but you like a woman would be really, really pretty and you just knew that, but you didn't even know how to articulate it. You were just like kind of like oohing, like, oh, like you don't know why exactly. Like, cause I'm like 6 or 7 at this point. I'm seeing Faye Dunaway. I'm like, wow, I don't know why I like looking at her, but I like looking at her.
The scene where he takes her over to the
waterfall, man.
Waterfall, yeah. And he's like, his eyes are real big and he's smiling as you're like, damn.
Little Pop's eyes were too. Like, whoa, what's happening with Faye Dunaway?
Yep.
And in this was pretty risque, actually. I kind of wanted to replay it, but I didn't have time to do it today. Fay Wray, when he's like, she's passed out and King Kong's like, takes off her skirt, he's pulling at her blouse or whatever. I'm like, that's very risque for 1933. That is hardcore edgy for that crowd. And let me tell you what, I guess if you had asked me like before watching this in the last couple of days, I watched it twice, and this is a darker horror movie than I ever remembered about him eating people and stuff, squishing them into the mud for 1933, guys. This movie is hardcore, man. It's impressive. You let yourself go and get immersed in this music and stuff and let yourself just really go with it. Man, I don't know. I keep trying to make them all greater than they are sometimes because I just can't pick one, but I'm good. This was fun. This was a great ride.
Well, it's that reverse wild lady thing. You know, you've got the untamed heart, right? So when you're looking at something like what Eddie Murphy talks about, I had to go to Africa to find a wife because she had to like be completely away from, you know, the modern women feminism and all that shit. I had to go and find this rare lady out in Africa. It's the exact opposite of that. So they've been feeding Kong, these women, and he'll get tired of them. And it's the village women, you know, it's the islanders. It's one of the island women. Then he gets this blonde that he can tolerate because she's blonde and she's beautiful. And it's the first blonde chick he's ever seen. So he's captivated by her. And that's the way it is in the other movies too. Yeah. So it's that rare blonde. Unfortunately, in Skull Island, that blonde is Brie Larson, but that never really goes that way. They never really make it where, oh, it's Brie Larson's beauty or anything like that.
No, the whole film just didn't approach it from that angle really at all. It's really not. It's just Kong as an adventure project, and I didn't hate it. Mrs. Pops loves it because of Hiddleston, but yeah, I don't hate on the first Godzilla film and the Kong Skull Island film. Now, the King of the Monsters nonsense, I can't do that film. That film broke my head. It just is so bad. I will say again, this whole sequence of him standing guard and then interacting with her, picking her up, putting her down, and then when the pterodactyl comes and tries to pick her up and he, you know, gets attacked, and then Jack swoops in and tries to and they climb down the vine. I'm like, guys, 90 years ago they pulled this off. I couldn't believe how good this was. I don't know. It's fun to be able to come to here with you guys on a Tuesday and start gushing about how much I enjoy and how well something is made whenever I have to sit through some of the other crap that's so shoddily made for like just gobs and bags of money. Like, yeah.
You know, they start climbing out. I think they're going to make it. And Kong's just, nope. Nope. Pulling you right back.
And it was just so fast too. It would be scary as all get out, man. Like here you're going. Next thing you know, he's grabbing up, like for him, it's the equivalent of like, you know, feet of vine. But for them, they're just like surging, you know, flying up there. And I will say there's this part of me, even though I have seen this movie, I don't know how many times, when they fall off and they are falling the way they do this, the effect very close to that rock. I actually have a little bit of that. Oh, they're going to hit that rock. You know, I literally have that moment like, my gosh, could Jack die? I know she's not going to die, but Jack could die. You know, it's like, oh yeah, very well done.
I did get a couple of laughs out of it with the log scene where you're watching the dummies falling and you're watching the limbs folding over themselves when it lands.
Yeah.
Just, whoop.
Yeah. So there's your Jeff Bridges love and Kong versus Brie conversation. Captivated by Brie's forehead. I think Kong is intimidated by her feet, and that's just.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh man. Toe jam. Ugh.
That's called Kong versus Bigfoot.
That makes me think of that conversation with Kevin Costner and what's his name in Bull Durham, where he's talking about
wearing the feet
flip-flops, shower shoes
have fungus.
Ugh.
Yeah.
No Brie, no foot stuff with Brie Larson. No.
Oh, I'm there. Yeah, trust me, I have no problem piling on because I have heard about the feet, and then my initial. It's one of those videos that doesn't exist, but if you had just filmed my response to the feet, because I'd heard about the feet, and then I pulled it up, and there these. I mean, I was like, whoa! I mean, I literally was like a meme of like you. Yeah, that was me responding to Brie Larson's feet the first time. Like, holy cow!
Yeah, it's like the response. It's like the memes of like Troll 2. Oh my God.
Okay, we can't derail. Again, this is that great sequence where, you know, you have Kong grabbing, eating people, stepping on them. They cut to an actor in the mud. The foot's coming down, squishing them in the mud. The editing is perfect. That music is perfect. Just everything is so good and so well done.
I mean, just this particular sequence here where he's going through, he's just crushing this
It's like a bridge barrier, basically. Yeah.
All this all this that he's just crushing down. You're watching the people just on there flailing and like throw their little spears at him, but it's like if someone sticks you with a toothpick.
Yeah, he's annoyed by it rather than actually injured. So, Loki, did any of this sort of translate to some of the other films, or some of the carryovers that you would?
Oh yeah, you've got them putting her out there. Almost all the Kongs have that scene, except for Skull Island, where they put Beauty out there on the pedestal and they like sacrifice her to Kong. So there you go. You got that. You've got the one in 76. You've got the one in Peter Jackson's movie. They all do that sacrificial scene with Beauty where they sacrifice her to Kong. Absolutely wonderful. You've got the wall. You've got the islanders that worship him like a god, that are offering up Beauty because they want Kong to leave him alone or protect him or give him good fortune or whatever they think he is, whether they think he's their god or protector or whatever. They're offering Beauty to the beast to satiate him, and he is interested. Hello.
No, you're still here. I'm just kind of cleaning around some tabs.
I think we lost Pops.
Uh-oh.
Or Pops went to the bathroom while I was talking. Either one. We either lost him or he took a break thinking, Loki will talk for like 5 or 10 minutes.
What are you talking about? He would never assume that.
And that scene, again, they always put Kong to sleep. So they use like chloroform, or they use gas, or they use something to knock his ass out and get him on a boat, which is about the stupidest thing you could ever do, is put that giant ape on a boat.
Come to think of it, like there's a story there they've never told that I think would be kind of interesting to hear about. And I hate to say it with like the modern day, but it's the story of how the story about how like they originally found out about it, like the guy who like washed ashore and all that, like that eventually led to them getting the news of Kong.
Oh yeah, no, they've never done that. They have never done that. No, you're absolutely right, Ironcaster, because there's always that we heard about an island out in blah 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 or whatever, and they've never ever done that story of maybe the guy shipwrecked with a whole bunch. Maybe that's where the first Beauty went, and Kong was like, "I don't like you," and ripped her in half and ate her. Yeah, it'd be great. We could totally go with that.
The original cut of Skull Island with Brie Larson, they just grabs her and just.
I'd love to see that.
Roll the credits.
I'd pay just for that. But getting him on that boat, that is one of the things I loved about the Godzilla vs. Kong, the latest one, was having him on that boat, having him on that flat deck boat, and then Godzilla showing up and tearing the shit out of that boat and then fighting in the water. I thought that was one of the best. Hey, great way to remind us how we got from A to B in the original. And great way to introduce Godzilla versus Kong is in the water, because Godzilla lives in that water and Kong doesn't.
The king out of his element.
Yeah, he took him out of his element.
Vulnerable, yeah, where he's vulnerable the most. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, no, I think the jungle sequence. I mean, I gotta be honest too. The other thing that one of my biggest takeaways was just. I don't want to say I forgot, but I sort of like discounted the multitude of attacks that he has to endure. We have the brontosaurus that attacks the human, but you also have like Kong versus T-Rex, Kong versus snake thing, which is more like an eel thing. I forget exactly what it's called. And then you have Kong versus pterodactyl. So you have a lot. I mean, there's a lot more in there than I kind of remembered. And I think that was actually really kind of cool as well. And I know Jackson did a really good job. His cut is actually a much longer film. So he tried to bring a lot more of that back to it and then enhance it. Like, how could I scale it up? Hence the reason we have two. That T-Rex sequence is freaking amazing. I mean, I'll be honest. 2005 may not be my favorite. Definitely, I really disliked the Jack Black casting more than anything else. It just didn't. And I don't even think Jack Black did a terrible job. It just didn't feel like he had the weight of who Carl Denham is. It's like it just didn't work for me. So
I still have. I don't have the drive, mind you. I just have the movie. I've got the HD Kong extended edition. What that is that is a HD disc that is not a Blu-ray. So back when those first rolled out, it was Blu-ray versus HD.
Mm-hmm.
And Microsoft was pushing the HD and Sony was pushing the Blu-ray. Well, Microsoft got the rights out of the gate to Kong, and one of the very first movies on HD was Peter Jackson's Kong. I still got that movie. I don't have the player. I don't have the disc drive anymore because it was like an add-on to your Xbox. But yeah, that was one of those like rare things that you never hear about, and you never see those in resale stores now. It's not a thing.
Yeah, it just kind of went away. You lost.
Yeah.
Beta lost to VHS, HD lost to Blu-ray. That's it. What were you going to say, Ironcaster? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying. HD lost the format war.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So we moved into the city. You briefly had the title card of the show pulled up. The eighth wonder of the world, and I got to be honest. I enjoy all of this, but I don't nearly like from the jungle to the point where he has Anne and he starts to scale that in between sequence. I just don't. I don't even have a dislike or a criticism really. It's just like, okay. Just like, okay, it's like, I don't know what to say there. I hate to be sort of flippant about it because I know we need to have some transitionary stuff, things like that. And I think it's just because I've seen the movie so many times. It's just, there was a really great line though about Jack. It's the first time I've worn a suit that's open in the front. And I was like, it was kind of a line that I never really picked up on much before, yesterday. So yeah. But Fay Wray, look how hot she looks. Mm-hmm. Yep. Looking good. All of this stuff has been ripped off so many times and in so many different ways. That was one of my biggest take homes during all of this, was just so much of this showman stuff and Kong on display. And yeah, 1933, they pulled that off, Loki. Look at that.
Well, it's just such an iconic moment of cinema history that it is, I would say, probably one of the top 10 films of all time, just for how influential this movie winds up being.
Yeah, most people that aren't into movies, I think, sort of like underestimate or don't get this. Yeah, I think, yeah, Shieldwell saying it's kind of like a Star Wars moment. I think it definitely is. I think it's just sort of like Star Wars and Jaws. It was all, and then Jurassic Park. They're like these moments of leveling up, and when it comes to science fiction and your imagination and what could be done. T2 was another one where that's like there's these massive scale ups of what can actually be done. This is definitely one of those films for sure. Hey, Whitechapel, how you doing? Yeah, just man, I loved it so much. It was so good. And I think someone said it earlier with the 76 version where Jeff Bridges starts cheering for Kong. I kind of, I'm kind of cheering for Kong. So I know, because it's going to happen. What are your thoughts on this effect? Because this would be, if there's an area that doesn't date well, it's the idea of having the actor in the giant animatronic head and they're trying to but they cut it so well. I thought it worked fine for me. Like, it's okay, especially for its time.
The thing is with a movie like this, it's while some of this stuff might not be as good, it's just the fact that it's in such an overwhelmingly legendary film that it's easy to overlook.
That's true. Good point.
But I mean, at the same time, even some of these moments we kind of overlook, like, where Kong's in the window.
Yeah, some of this stuff. I think part of it too was the eyes. They didn't exactly know how to do a gorilla's eyes the way Jackson's movie does. Like, I know Jackson he leaned more into, the gorilla, actual gorilla with the way he did that. But the biggest thing for me is the eyes, because they have a different colored eyes than that. They don't really have that much white. It's a different look. I mean, I've never seen because we've had gorillas here at all. We used to take the kids to the zoo all the time, and they had so many gorillas. They just don't have that much white in their eyes.
Look at the Godzilla eyes of the time too. If you go look at the Godzilla's got the googly weird eyes, almost like Cookie Monster eyes.
Yeah.
And so they're very similar. They did the eyes very similar.
Yeah, Shield was right. 5 years into talkies. Mike is here as well. Hey, Bo. Yeah. Get your mouth off of me, you damn dirty ape. Who I've had. Yeah, the stuff with stop motion. Yeah. Good. Yeah, it was great. All right, Loki went and got his disc. Can we take a pause and just show off?
There you go. If you haven't seen an HD DVD, and so.
I wonder what's in my set, because I have that set too, but I don't know if I have the HD set. Go ahead, Ironcaster. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just reading what it said on the disc there.
This came
perfect.
This came with the player. So when you bought the Xbox add-on, you got King Kong for free, and they were trying to push you into getting the King Kong game. For 360, I'll get the buy the special disc drive to hook up to your Xbox 360 so you can watch HD DVD movies, and we'll give you King Kong, and then you can go play the game. You can buy the game and play the game. So it was a whole marketing campaign based around this movie. But I originally thought, hey, HD is going to be the thing. HD DVDs. I don't know what this Blu-ray thing is, but the HD DVDs are going to be the big thing. And I backed the wrong horse, didn't I?
Well, you're not all in, right? You don't have 100 of those things. You have a couple of those things.
No, I have one. No, I have just King Kong. That's the only movie I've got is Kong. Is the 2005 Peter Jackson Kong. So
very cool.
I have no way to play it, because I don't have a player to play it.
Let me share, since we took a pause, I did look at a couple of things here. First, let me go over to our Talk Hard. This was sent over to us. We have the actual animatronic here. Look at this beast. This is what went up for auction.
Don't you just want to hug him?
I could not buy that because I'd want to play with it at least for a minute or two. Like, holy cow. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Thank you guys. You guys in chat are always amazing.
I love it.
Yeah. Chat's always rocking and rolling for us. And then just old school Pops history. Yeah, this is it. This was the puzzle. Yep, that's it. That was my puzzle. 150 pieces. 6-year-old Pops. Yep. Rocking and rolling the 150 pieces over and over and over again. And I was such a nerd, guys. I would put the puzzle together and then I'd flip it over so it was the cardboard side, and then I would draw pictures on the back so that I'd have a second puzzle to do, and then I'd take it apart, put my own puzzle together. I know. It's like it's a weird thing, just occupy your time and your brain back in the day when you didn't have some things. So yeah.
But did you have any of the Topps trading cards?
No, I don't remember ever having the King Kong trading cards. And I don't know why, because I love trading cards as a kid. Obviously, it's carried over into my adult life. And as far as I know, I don't have any and haven't had any. So, yeah. I don't even know that I know how common or rare they are. They may be uncommon or rare. I don't even know. Not even a fair. I've let you all down on my my knowledge circle for that with King Kong cards. They got me there. So, anyway.
Like I found like this image of them, and it's of course the same.
Yep. No, that image is the poster. As Loki said, you said earlier, right? That's he's standing on the Twin Towers. Like this is the famous picture. The biggest difference too is when he was attacking the gate. There's an image with him like grabbing. He has like the handfuls of like the grass and the hay and stuff that they used to build the gate, the wood and stuff like that in his hand. So like there's an image of that I remember very, very vividly from my childhood, stuff like that. So, and when you're a kid, it was like, you know, everything was about these creatures and monsters and stuff like that. It was just great. I just loved all of it. I remember I've talked about it. Like I assume it's Christmas around that time because it's probably pre-Star Wars, because once Star Wars lands in 78, so it's got to be when I was 6 or 7. I got this Godzilla that had to be like 3 feet tall, and he had wheels, so he would roll. And he had this little lever in the back of his head you'd push, and a little fire thing would come out. And, you know, because I mean, I was really into this. So that was my thing when I was a little boy. It was like Hulk, you know, Marvel was big into merchandising and creature stuff. Yeah. That was the way to go. Movie's amazing. So glad we picked it and spent some time with it. So, let me see what chat.
I mean,
Loki's here for Godzilla, of course. Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Yep. Big G. Always on Big G's side, no matter what happens.
The natives. Yeah, the natives are fun.
Even when Godzilla's a bad guy, I'm still rooting for Godzilla.
R.I.P. Betamax. Imagine seeing the theater. Yeah, we kind of covered that. Sorry, I think I must have scrolled back too far. Mighty Joe Young. Yeah, Mighty Joe Young was a big deal.
Yep.
And it didn't land in theater. Just didn't go. Just didn't get wheels. So sorry about that. So, Souls has to remember that King Kong video game. There we go.
On 360.
Physical media, baby. Yep.
And the thing is, with this movie, because it came out in 1933, within the next probably 5 or 6 years, it'll be entering the public domain.
Oh, I don't know the rules too with something like that. I would think they would try to figure out some sort of way to subvert it getting out there, but I guess Kong itself probably can get out there. I don't know what it will do for the product, but yeah, you could probably do Kong stuff for sure. So,
well, like I know, for example, Nintendo won't have to worry about like the Donkey Kong stuff anymore.
Correct. Right. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Making a comment. I thought maybe I'm sure I didn't mess up here. I've been saying no the whole time it was Jessica Lange. Oh man, why are you guys not correcting me? Sorry, Cheryl. You got me corrected there. Thank you. Go ahead, Ironcaster.
I was saying I found some of the King Kong wax packs, but they're like $10 a piece.
It's not as expensive as I would have expected. I probably can find them cheaper if we wanted to do that. But yeah, I could probably find some.
I don't think I want the gum that badly.
Well, it's only 76, you amateur. I did Black Hole, which is 79. We found a wax pack online. Troy Pacelli and I were messaging back and forth over a what was it, like McHale's Navy or something? It was really OG, really, really old. Yeah. Shogun Warriors, yeah, that was a big deal. That and Godzilla, 70s Godzilla, yeah. Godzilla and a cartoon. Mm-hmm.
I was thinking the Godzilla cartoon where he has like Godzuki.
Yep, I watched it.
God, Godzuki.
I watched it all the time.
There's only one worse thing than Godzuki, and that was Manila. God help me.
Yeah, I don't even. I have no shame. I remember watching Godzuki. And Mike, you make my day. If you go back and watch it, man, I'm telling you, just let yourself go and get into the music and keep in the back of your mind. This is made 90 years ago. It is a crying shame, Hollywood. You're pathetic. You're just pathetic. Watch a movie like this made me just love Kong. It made me want to do what Loki did. When we want to go binge watch my Kong movies, I just didn't get to it. I had the littles. I couldn't throw in Peter Jackson with my 5-year-old granddaughter. Oh my gosh, I'd be in so much trouble if Mrs. Pops. She'd be killing me. Yeah, Godzuki is the Scrappy Doo. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm good with that. And then they're like, no, Scrappy's worse. Well, Scrappy talks more. Godzuki would probably grow up to be more like a nastier version or whatever. So, last thoughts, Ironcaster, on 33 before we kind of get to something else here.
It's such an iconic movie that it needs to be seen. And even if you haven't seen it, it's like becomes so part of the cultural zeitgeist that you basically know, the story beats, the ending of it. It's just so ingrained in cinema history that this movie without having seen it. And it's a shame if you haven't actually sit down and seen it, because it deserves to be seen and it is worthy of your time. If Hollywood doesn't want to give us something good now, there's so much in the past, and this is a movie that you can absolutely spend some time with and truly enjoy yourself.
Yeah, that's all good stuff. I'm good with all that. That's for sure. So, yeah. So here's a picture of the model. I found this. It's a blog post from a while ago. Quora has it now, and you can see the models. Yeah. There's the one that went up for auction, and then working with it. Here they're doing some of the stop motion work. There's another photo with him. He's got the model. He's got the model Ann on Kong's back. I don't know. Maybe I got the wrong link, but it's just beautiful. Loki, other thoughts?
They don't make movies like they used to. They don't make movies like this anymore. Not like this. Like Vops was saying, the first 40 minutes of the movie, they have to keep your attention because you haven't seen the monster yet, and they don't have enough money to constantly have the monster in their movie. So they want to surprise you. They want to excite you, and that's exactly what this movie does. Even 90 years ago, even shown today, there are things that Hollywood could relearn watching this movie, and they won't because of sheer effing hubris. They don't not going to think to look in the past to reignite an imagination that they've lost, and they have lost it. It just goes to show you again that present day Hollywood is missing something, and it's missing this drive and creativity you had in this movie from 1930.
I couldn't agree more. Project Cambrium, I don't think it's free anywhere, by the way. Just so you guys know, you can look, but I'm 99% sure it's not available anywhere. Because I did the Star Wars stuff, and I didn't get to it wasn't a documentary, it was a commentary. The 30th anniversary Star Wars commentary has Lucas talking with Carrie Fisher and a couple of the creatives about Star Wars. And one of the things that struck me was what you were saying, Loki, is this creative drive. It's like, this is what I can do. This is what I can afford to do. This is what I want to do. And I thought to myself, so much of what we see and hear, I don't ever get an impression from any of the creatives that is their process. And that's the problem. It's sort of this lack of vision and this motivation to entertain and tell a good story and the depth of character. And I just feel like so much is just thrown against the wall and next product. And this is not a film that's like that. This is a film that's like, how can we entertain and make you get really attached to Anne? And you kind of have a love-hate for this Carl movie maker guy. Like you hate him, but you like him, and you don't know exactly. You're push-pull the whole time, right? And then we kind of want Jack and the romance stuff. Well, let's not get too carried away yet. Let's kind of keep it over here a little bit. So yes. Yeah, real innovation on a budget. Yeah, incredible. I didn't look to see if it was NECA. There is a great action figure somewhere. Is it NECA? Ironcaster? There is one out there.
I know NECA has the Godzilla license, and I think McFarlane Toys did a King Kong.
Very cool. Movies made in 1933 are better and more fun than the stuff they're making now, and you can forgive crappy special effects from 1933. 2023 has no excuse. And I don't even know that I'm going to say that crappy effects in 1933. I'm just like, literally, I think our biggest criticism would be King Kong's eyes and those close-up shots of it, chewing on an actor. It doesn't really move much, but this is not like you have to endure this sequence for an experience. It's like literally like 2-second shots, and they cut, and then you have the stop motion again. So completely different motivation of like, can we do this? You feel like we're sitting around the production, or like, Loki, is there a way we can get somebody in this thing's mouth Like, if we shoot it at the end, that way if we can't, here's what we're gonna do. Like, we're gonna shoot it at the end. That way, if we break it, it won't ruin the rest of the scene. So we're at
We
the end.
mess it up.
That's how it's done, right? That's what
Yeah,
you do.
that's what
you
they
build
do.
You build a giant head like this, and you have all these different shots that you need it for. And you're like, okay, now we're gonna put crap in its mouth. Like, it's a good chance we're gonna break it. So we're gonna shoot all of that at the end, and every actor, we're gonna keep throwing different actors in it. You're gonna throw them in. Okay, we need a scene here. We need a scene there. Can we get another villager? And you just keep having close-ups and stuff. And at some point, it just stops working. What's that?
Get the guy in the monkey suit getting eaten by the monkey.
Yep. Get that guy. Yeah, have him get in there too. No, we already have that shot. Dad, throw another guy into it. Use the foot again. Can we squash another native in this mud puddle? Yes, we can. Yes, we paid for it. We're putting it in. Okay, so they have the 2005 and a CGI kid show, Kong and Friends. Yeah, I've seen Kong and Friends a couple places. So I thought about trying to get that past the kiddos, but I don't have anything to go on. I don't have a lot of sci-fi with them yet. 2016, Femme Ghostbusters problematic. They'll ignore it all. Okay. 23, Kong would be 10 episodes long. A trans ecologist would be a hero, not Kong. Kong Lives with Linda Hamilton on YouTube. Is that a reference to the King Kong Lives is on YouTube? Oh, okay.
I guess so.
And the original King Kong is on YouTube. This says, okay, interesting. Yeah, but again, they didn't know how to do the eyes. I think the big issue is not just because of the black and white. It's like, I think it's like what you were saying, Loki. It's like, I think with Godzilla, we see the same thing. It's like they just didn't know exactly what to do with the eyes. So everything has to be squeezed through. Yeah, all the lenses. Yeah, McFarlane has a Kong. Okay, Maniacs 3, very good. What?
Like from what I've seen,
commercial.
okay, a lot.
I'm tempted to look that up. Holy cow. Okay, so historical films has 33. There you go, guys. There you go. Yes. Yes, T-Rex in the Lost World has a callback to it, Jacob. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very much so. So, yeah. Loki, what was it? How do you? I want to put you on the spot here. Let's make you rank them. But how do you kind of like layer? I don't know that I have major problems with any of the Kong movies, but I have problems with some of the Kong movies. If that makes sense. How do you kind of rate and evaluate them all?
Well, you got to do it for their time. Like I said, each one of these movies, filmed and produced in a different decade, deals with different aspects while all being kind of centered around the same thing. This uncontrollable force where humanity is at a point where, hey, you know what? We've got buildings, we've got civilization, we've got do's and don'ts, but then you have this creature that doesn't abide by any of that, and it doesn't have to. Why? Because it is a giant effing gorilla. Whether it's the one that looks like it's in a suit, whether it's the one that looks CG, one that looks like a silverback, one that looks like the present iteration of it, doesn't matter what it looks like. They're all these uncontrollable, unstoppable monsters that you cannot put in a room and say, sit, stay, do as you're told, because guess what? They're 50 times bigger than you are, and they'll crush you. They don't have to follow any rules. It's the ultimate chaotic part of the board that doesn't have to do what you tell it to. There is no taming it. There is no satisfying it. There is no bargaining with it. There is no, well, we are at this point where we can sit down and talk to it. There's none of that, and there never will be, because it's an unstoppable force trying to go up against an immovable object, which is civilization.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. That's great. The one thing I wanted to point out too, because how I am, I love to be a writer's nerd, right? So I went down the rabbit hole. There's two writers that are credited with this film. but I want to go over because literally if Wikipedia had something that was like, well, and I didn't go deeper, but I'm sure we could go deeper because that's even more fun when you do that kind of stuff. But one of the writers is Ruth Rose. And here's what it says. In the 1930s, Cooper began development on the film King Kong. He had already gotten 2 other writers to work on Kong, Edgar Wallace, who died, and then James Ashmore Creelman, who wrote a screenplay that is too slow-paced, descriptive, and had too much flowery dialogue, according to Cooper. So he hired Rose to rework it. Rose cut out many of the long, unimportant scenes that Creelman had written in order to make it more fast-paced. She is credited with writing such famous lines as, "Oh no, it wasn't the airplanes, it was beauty that killed the beast." She also based the character of Carl Denham on Marion Cooper, the actual director, and Drake Driscoll on her husband, Ernest. So there you go. Women are not in Hollywood? You can say, well, who gets credit for writing one of the most famous lines in history? Possibly definitely one of the top 10 most famous final lines of a movie in cinema history, and co-wrote one of the greatest films of all time. That would be Miss Ruth Rose. So there you go, folks. Put that feather in their cap. Yeah. What about you, Ironcaster? I mean, I know you've seen all these other Kong movies and that kind of thing. How do you kind of like evaluate and place it and kind of put it all together for you, my friend?
Well, actually, the 70s and the 80s, I have not seen.
Oh, the 76 one?
Yeah. 76 has escaped me.
King Kong Lives in 86. Yeah.
Yeah, those I've managed to avoid seeing. I kind of remember the 2000s one. I just remember it was like 3 hours long or like really long.
Peter Jackson, what do you expect? Go ahead.
True.
It is too long.
Plus it does have Jack Black in it, so that does kind of make it worth probably going back to revisit.
Yeah.
But what can I say? I lean towards the old black and white stuff. That's kind of what I prefer for watching stuff. So it's gonna have my favorite for the original.
Gotcha. Project Cambrian did clarify an earlier comment. There was not a commercial. It was just me creating the imagery of Kong chewing on villagers. So hence a McDonald's McNugget joke, which, by the way, I could see us making a parody commercial like that with just not a lot of work. So yeah, merchandising. Yes, indeed. The number of writers were only 2. Yeah, I know. There'd be a whole lot more today. Jen is in the house. Rush sequel, Son of King Kong. Yeah. Talked about that. And Chris pointed out they use ChatGPT. Shield Wall is interesting. You said Adrian Brody was good in the 2005, and I'm going to rewatch it, so I'll let you know my thoughts. I'll probably end up doing like a throwback Thursday on the Kong movies. I didn't get to it. I may get to it in time for this week, but definitely wanted to do that. So, and I want to say thank you to Scott Westbrook, 5 memberships he's donated. Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much for doing that. Appreciate it. And let's see here. Jacob Ironside, Whitechapel, the Padawannabe, Anonymous, and Ironcaster, brother. You're all one up on your membership. So thanks for that, Scott. I appreciate you so much supporting the channel, supporting me. Thank you so much. Again, I don't know if Scott goes on air or not. We need to have him on sometime if he'll do it, but that'd be great. It'd be fun to have him up there. He's been supporting me for a long time now. So, some good stuff. So, we are in Kaijun. And yes, we're coming up on Godzilla stuff. I have something to show. You're there, right, Loki? Because I wanted to. I wish I could see your face, which I know you're not going to do, but I wish I could. Are you ready? What I have? Let me stop the cam. Okay.
What do you got?
Oh,
what do you got?
Okay, guys.
Oh my God, I can't even see the name. Hold on.
Are you ready?
There. All right. Oh.
It is a sealed. It's not sealed, but it's a.
Wow.
I have no idea how I ended up with them.
Lizard.
They were. This is the iguana set. So yeah, these are the box. Look at this. Look at this. How bad that is.
Nope.
It was in with some of the Star Wars stuff. So when I was looking for some stuff, it was in one of those boxes in the bottom. I was like, "What is this nonsense? Like, how on earth? Like, what?" Oh, I saved it for Kaijun. So yeah, Ironcaster, I'll have to send you a pack or two. There's no gum, by the way. For those of you that are wondering about a Padawan challenge for this, there's no gum. So once you get into like that era, they were already doing foil packs. They were not going to put gum in there. So yeah, yes, there you go. Yes, and yes, Chris says it too for me. Thank you again, Chris Scott, for that. It's awesome, man. Let's see. Guilty pleasure, AC. Holy cow, AC is in the right age group though. Yeah, because my sons are the same way. Like I've heard them say things like when they talk about Phantom Menace and they talk about the Godzilla movie. There's a couple others, and they're like, I like it for all the wrong reasons. Meaning they like it because they were a kid. It was their first Godzilla. It was, the music. It was that kind of stuff. So
No fire breath, no Godzilla.
yeah, I know. It's like,
Like, I wouldn't go calling it the wrong reasons. I to say like I liked it for I liked it because I first saw it when I was a kid. There's an affinity towards it for sentimental reasons.
It's Totopoulos. Uh-huh.
Nick, it's the worm guy.
Worm guy.
90s Godzilla was okay. Ooh,
Not a fan.
well, you're reaching there, Soul Assassin. Cartoon was better. Okay.
Does anybody remember the music video, the rap video, where that version of Godzilla actually used the fire breath? The rapper's standing there, and this beam of energy comes out of his medallion. He's got one of those big, it's not a clock, but it's like a big medallion on his chest. And this beam of energy comes out of his medallion. And that Godzilla, the 90s Godzilla, in the music video uses his fire breath against his medallion. And they have like a back and forth power battle between Godzilla's fire breath and the energy coming out of this guy's medallion. And I'm like, you can do that in an epping music video that has this 90s Zilla Godzilla in it, but you can't do that in the movie? Ah!
Huh. Okay. I'm looking for it. I'm on it. I'm trying to find it and see if I could get it. Is it Puff Daddy?
I might have. Rap version with 97 Godzilla. Yes, using the atomic fire breath.
Yeah, but like unfortunately, all I'm finding is like Blue Oyster Cult or
No.
Eminem.
No, it was hold on. 90s rap video with Godzilla.
And it's too much Puff Daddy. It's not enough.
It was I bet you it was Puff Daddy off barrel. However, because of legal use of the Godzilla theme song, no, that's not. I bet you it's this one.
It's probably it.
All right.
With me.
We're all about the experience here, guys. Bear with us while we sort this out. They'll find it. I'm going to stop looking and just go back to chat. Yeah, Padawan, no gum. Yeah, no, bro. Yeah, I have to cut the snip for those of you that missed it. On the final live stream of Star Wars Day, I did the Padawan challenge again. We did a pack of Return of the Jedi cards that Nas won, but ultimately gave to Mags. So I did that gum. So that'll be clipped and added to the ever-growing Padawan challenge list. So yeah, the soundtrack was fine. Yeah, PC, I'm with you, bro. With you on that. So let's see. The cartoon is great. Okay. I don't remember the cartoon, actually. It's one of those things we got to be honest. At that point with the boys, if the cartoon came on and entertained them for a minute, I probably had some household duties to deal with because it was like trying to keep up with life with the two boys who were terrors when it came to that age group. And they were bonkers, man. A giant lizard had no soul, no radiation breath, no face. It was weak as, yeah, I know. Get you. Janet's talking about Wu-Tang. Is it a Wu-Tang video?
I found a Puff Daddy video called for a song called "Come With Me" that was on the Godzilla soundtrack.
Yeah, but I was going across it. I couldn't find anything that involved the breath. I didn't see any radioactive fire.
No,
or anything like that. I went through the whole video. I didn't see anything.
There's a clip at the very end where it's like Godzilla breathing on a bus that's exploding.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's not quite it, but it's close.
I know Shield Wall. It's like one of these things too where I actually don't mind the first Godzilla, the Godzilla 2014, right? Because I can just fast forward through some of the human stuff, like just keep it moving. So I just do a self edit. I don't know. I almost wish I could program the disc to do it for me. Yeah, they're all basically talking about the same thing. So yeah, we just didn't find the right video. But yeah, no, that was for you, Loki. I'll send over some to the new address so you can start your Godzilla set and you can start putting it together there for you, bro. 97 Godzilla. I thought it was later than that. No, it was 97. But yeah, Tai June is here, my friends. We are rock and rolling this month. Next week is going to be Jurassic Park. Always just a classic film. Just a great film. Love talking about Jurassic Park. Life-changing for me. Just can't believe it. IRONCASTER, my bro, what's going on this week? More comic talk and stuff like that. I caught a couple of things in replay over the weekend, so that's always fun. What's going on with you?
Let's see. Tomorrow night I'm gonna go catch the Shout Factory, or not Shout Factory, the Fathom event for Shin Kamen Rider, which is a movie that's been on my radar for a while. And I think I'm going to try and do a little bit of a impromptu live stream afterwards to talk about it.
That's great. Awesome.
And then coming up on Friday, I'll be on with Nick Weisers for the Friday Night Comic Shop Talk, where we are on episode 100. So we're having a little bit of a celebration for that.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. Congratulations to everybody over there doing that. So that's awesome. Loki, my friend, what's the word, man? I know the morning show's rocking and rolling. Another great show with Mim today. And what's YouTube talk tomorrow?
Oh, God help me. I have no idea. I haven't decided yet. So it's probably going to be something about, what we talk about, what we talk about. And there was a little bit of negativity this morning, but you know what? That was me being honest. That's just the way I see it. Look, the whole thing with Disney, people are always on me about, why don't you talk about Disney more? Why don't you use Disney as a springboard, blah, 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 blah. I absolutely cannot stand Disney. They are going to go down with this sinking ship. They're going to go down hugging their caramel colored flags, and they're going to go down with this ship. Nothing is going to change for this company. They will die on this hill. They're going to die on this hill. They're going to die fighting on this hill. They've already said they will. And they will. They'll burn the company to the ground before they change anything or do anything different than what they want to do. So why the hell am I going to sit around and talk about a company and talk about promoting movies or TV series or anything like that when I absolutely cannot stand the company? And you're not going to get any kind of middle of the ground opinion from me. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry if you feel differently. I'm glad you still have hope for it. I don't. So do you really want to hear me talk for an hour about a company that I absolutely positively hate and could give a rat's ass what happens to? No, there's absolutely no point.
I don't understand the point of why, for all of you out there, because many of you are content creators or doing channels and things like that, please don't just from someone that's been doing this for a very long time, maybe not always on this, definitely not on this channel, but definitely in YouTube and definitely in other stuff. Don't be fake like that. Just be who you are. If you don't want to talk about it, don't talk about it. Don't try to chase clicks and chase nonsense, and just, tell people how you actually feel about something. And if you don't want to cover it, don't cover it. I mean, how many times can you beat your head against the wall discussing a certain topic? Hence the reason I don't do some of the website work I did before. It's like, at some point you're like, am I changing minds? Am I making a difference? And am I enjoying myself? I'm like, this is work. This is worse than not doing this. Like, I don't want to do
Are
that.
you just repeating what everybody else is saying? I understand there's some people that are like, we're going to roast marshmallows and we're going to pop popcorn and we're going to have the happiest, doo-diest time watching Disney burn. I loved Disney growing up as a kid. I loved going to Disneyland when I was a little kid. To see this company do what it's doing and die on this hill, it's just not something I'm enjoying. I want to slap the shit out and be like, wake the hell up and stop acting like this. But this is the world we live in, and this is the way it's going to work. So instead of listening to me bitch, moan, and complain about it, or talk about how great it's going to be to watch them fail, which I want them to get their shit together. I do. I'm the guy that's like, I want them to get this shit together and realize that this is a mistake and they need to turn the boat around and fix this shit. I am that guy, but I know that's not going to happen. They are going to ride this down, spanking its ass the whole way down, saying how great it is, even when the company's burning and the walls are burning around them and all the rats have left the sinking ship, they're still going to be riding the Titanic down saying nothing's wrong, everything's normal, everything's fine. I don't want to constantly cover that. I don't. That's not.
I think that there's so many people that have we've already called it all out, you know, and I do what I do and you do what you do. I talked to a normie today, and she is a normie. And she said that how'd she put it? They wanted to see Guardians, but didn't. And then they saw something else, and she fell asleep in the middle, and then saw the end, and it was okay. And I said, well, what about this? She's like, nah, I don't really care. What about this? Yeah, I don't really care. Like apathy. Which is, people have said it before, like the I don't care is way worse than I'm angry about it. It bothers me or whatever. No, it's like I just don't. Like when the normies are sort of like, I don't care, whatever the numbers and projections are, it's going to be way worse than all that.
Give me 1 second. I will be right back because I do want to show you guys something because this will knock some people's socks off and we'll be able to believe this. I'll be right back.
Yeah, right. No problem. I forget what was else out recently, and that's what it was she was talking about. I'd have to look at the freaking list. Ant-Man. It was Quantumanium. That's what it was. She fell asleep in the middle, saw the end, and was like, I don't care. Yeah, whatever. Like, it just didn't even matter. And I'm like, why would it matter? You know? But again, more important than even the intricacies of, you know, bashing Disney, not bashing Disney, watching it burn, having hope. I would just encourage everyone to just be their authentic selves, be genuine with what your take is. When we're here, I have no problem saying I love Kong 1933, but man, when there's those close-up shots of those eyes and stuff like that, it's like, oh gosh, it's rough, but it's not so rough that it takes me out of the movie or that I hate it or anything like that. So
I'm a collector first and foremost. Anybody who knows me knows I love vinyl. I know I collect vinyl. I love collecting vinyl. I've got the other ones. So I felt like I had to get this, and Disney got a little money from me. At the end of the day, I know. Look at that look from IRONCASTER. Disney got money from Loki. What the hell? Well,
Ron pictured it. Oh, it's a Galaxy. Yeah,
it's the guard. This has got. I pre-ordered this. It's got the special vinyl. It's not black. It's purple and gold, I think, because that's where the colors in the movie. So I got the double vinyl. I got the special edition, and they got a little money out of me. Why? Because I've got the other two, and there's some great songs on here. The acoustic version of Creep, Crazy on You. Since You've Been Gone, In the Meantime, Reasons, yep. Do You Realize, We Care a Lot, I'm Always Chasing Rainbow, San Francisco, Poor Girl, No Sleep Till Brooklyn, Dog Days, Badlands, I Will Dare, Come and Get Your Love, which has been in all the other albums. Come and Get Your Love has been in all three of the Guardians of the Galaxy albums, but I don't care. There's some songs on there that I don't have, but I've got the other two albums. So I'm going to get that. I'm going to get that special one. And I've got two versions of each album. I've got the regular black vinyls, and then I've got the colored vinyls that are the rare versions.
Yeah, I saw I think it was the volume 2. It was the picture disc, the Walmart only. I saw it recently, and I was like, oh, what if he has that? Anyway, yeah. So I always think of you when I see the vinyl on an end cap. So go ahead,
it's not about saying I'm not going to give you any money whatsoever. I'm just going to give you less. That is, I'd say that's the big win. It's like, it's defunding them just with like the little purchases. Yes, it's going to be next to impossible to avoid giving Disney any money ever. But if every once in a while I find something else instead.
Mm-hmm. That is the only penny they've gotten out of me in this entire phase. So for this entire phase, I have not seen a movie in the theater. They have not gotten a penny out of me out of Disney Plus. I've not bought any action figures. I've not bought any soundtracks except for this soundtrack. I didn't even see Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in theaters. I saw a bootleg pirate copy. So I would not go and see it in the theater. But I saw the album and I said, I've got two versions of the other two, so I've got to get these. That way I have the collection.
The large Hadron Collider might have actually started with, yes, we need to keep an eye on it. So this was sent over. Chris Persia had this. This is actually trading cards. I assume they're done after the fact. I can't make it any bigger than that. This is actually the 1933 movie. So, Chris, I didn't know if you had the details on this. I was going to try to Google it while I was pulling it up because I know Universal had licensed out their stuff because I have the Frankenstein set. There's this beautiful Frankenstein set. Oh my gosh, there's this. It's incredible. So, this notice it says done by Eclipse. I didn't know the details of when they were made though. Oh, they're 1993. So it's an Eclipse set, but it's all the images lifted right from the film. So it's a set of trading cards. It's 110 cards. So yeah, it's out there. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool indeed. So yeah, base set, Eclipse. Huh. We might be able to find some of those packs. Never know. All right, cool. Very cool. So yeah, folks, next week, Jurassic Park. Looking forward to that. I still can remember vividly seeing that in the theater for the first time. Blown away.
How many times did you go and see that?
In the theater?
Yeah.
The initial run was probably about 3 or 4.
Yep. Me and my dad did the same thing that summer.
About 3 or 4 that time, yeah. So I saw it once, was blown away, saw it again right away, whether it was the next day or day after. It was like twice within the opening weekend. So yeah, I saw about 3 or 4 in the opening run, probably. I saw one of the re-releases. It came back to theaters for something. I don't know if it was which of the anniversaries or Fathom had it or something. I just saw it again. Just love this movie. Love it so much. Oh, and by the way, I wanted to share. Go ahead, Ironcaster.
I was about 4 years old at the time, so I was a little too young to go see it. But I remember watching it like on the couch with like my dad.
That scene where she's like, this plant's been extinct, and they, he stands up and takes his hat off, and that music hits, and you see the brachiosauruses for the first time. I mean, dude, chill bumps every single time. It doesn't matter how many times I've seen that movie. It's that music hitting and that look. And when you see them and they made dinosaurs, you're like, holy shit, the crazy son of a bitch, he actually did it. The Ian Malcolm line, you feel like you are Ian Malcolm. As you're sitting there, they're like, holy shit, they did it. They actually did it. They brought back the dinosaurs. Here's the dinosaurs in a movie. You're actually seeing them. They're not the claymation dinosaurs. It's not the stop motion dinosaurs. These look like real dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I play that for the 2-year-old. 2 years on dinosaurs. I guess what he's watched. He's watched that scene. He's watched the Gallimimus get chased down and caught by the T-Rex. We've seen a little bit of the T-Rex stuff. Don't get too scary to a 2-year-old, but we've seen some of it. But yeah, and then of course some of the Raptor stuff, but you got to be pick and choose when they're 2. But yeah, love it. Hail to Copa who popped in there, some other folks coming in there, and yeah, Knives for Sale, indeed, Knives for Sale. Knives for Sale. That's definitely a good one. So, what else was I gonna say? So again, Trump cards. 1982 is the best year in cinema. I didn't get a chance to get to it on my Star Wars day. Yes, Raiders of the Lost Ark was re-released in theaters in 1982. And in August, right before we all go back to school, the original Star Wars were re-released in theaters again in 1982. Ken, it's a rough year, man. The rough year to Trump. I'm telling you right now. It's not just the movies that come out originally. It's also the entire theatrical experience that year. It was like heroin, man. I couldn't remember the exact date. I looked it up for the Star Wars stuff, and I meant to get into it on some of the conversation, and I didn't. I'm like, man, I'll never forget seeing it again. Like, oh yes, please take me back, see it again. It's all I begged for. And finally, I was old enough to go. Like, they just drop you off. I was like, oh, thank gosh. That's how I saw all this crap in the theater. They just leave you. All right, so, all right, sounds good. So, well, folks, hope you're having a great week. Hope the rest of your week goes well. Make tomorrow a little bit better than today. Be blessed. And I am clicking all sorts of the wrong buttons, hence the reason for the delay. And with that, get out there, talk hard, and we will see you next time. Take care.